on. I'm just not a clothes hound. I just want to make sure everything's covered and nothing looks.
So there was no anxiety. You just said, "I'm wearing this." Boom.
Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, because I thought, well, I could go out and shop for something new, but the last time I shopped for something new, I lost on Star Search. And so, I mean, I don't consider it a curse exactly, but it really did. You had on something new. It wasn't your usual outfit, and so you don't move the same. You're kind of like, and it didn't have pockets. What a moron that for the first time I'd ever worn anything on stage without pockets.
Gotta have pockets.
It was on national television, and I'm going, I can't, where do I put my hand? So, no, actually, the reason I picked the outfit I did is because I'd already worn it on TV once. I wore it on Girls' Night Out on Lifetime, and so I was like, I know how this looks already. I'm not going to have to get home and go, what was I thinking?
So now, you said you did your set 20 times. Was that 20 times in front of audiences?
Yeah.
Or did you sit in front of a mirror in the hotel room? Hi. Thanks, Jay. Hi. Anybody here celebrate anything? Okay, good.
If you count those times, it goes up into the triple digits.
So, hi, where are you from?
So, you look like you're from Missouri.
Sure. That's where you're from.
Missy, where are you?
Are you from Missouri?
Yeah.
Right? Aren't you one of, 100 kids?
There's only just the 10 of us.
Oh, okay.
Just
my mistake.
Small Catholic family, I don't want you making any stereotypes. There's only 10.
Okay.
So, we're not very ethnic. We're Irish on one side and German on the other, which is sort of like being a cockapoo,
Sure.
Ugly but friendly.
Sure.
We didn't get out much. You can't take 10 kids out in the street, They have a name for that. That's unlawful assembly, I guess.
I think it is.
What'd you ask me? I'm the number 8 child. I'm
Number 8.
8th of 10. And the 7 older and 1 younger are boys. There's 8 boys in a family. 8 brothers.
Wow.
Do you know 8 is the exact number the American Kennel Club recognizes as a litter?
I did not know that.
I grew up in a house full of men. One thing I don't have is unrealistic expectations.
All right.
I've seen them in their natural habitat.
Yeah.
I could tell you stuff. The same guy. I'm in a room full of men, so I'm taking a chance here, but I know whereof I speak. The same guy that won't eat off a fork that's been dropped on the floor in a restaurant in his own home will take a sandwich in the bathroom with him. Sure. Come back out and offer you half. Here you go.
Limburger.
Maryann Kelly is our guest. So that's a lot of people to grow up around.
Indeed it is. And,
now, let me ask you this. Since you're one of the younger ones, I imagine that your brothers and sisters, a lot of them probably have kids of their own by now?
They have a whole mess of nieces and nephews. I have 26 nieces and nephews.
So it's probably pretty tough to keep track.
Well, I know all their names. I'm really proud of that.
You can recognize them?
I can recognize them on sight. That's Wendy. That's Joseph. That's, I know all of them.
That's because
I know some of them better than others.
And I just went on a long car journey with my mom, who I don't get to talk to that much. And we got to talking because, fortunately, we had a little TV in the car so that the 3 kids were wearing headphones in the back. Then we, of course, hermetically sealed the back and didn't hear from them for 8 hours. We're driving along talking, and we got talking about her family and everything. And I found out, for example, I have cousins I've never met. I mean, lots of them.
Yeah.
It's really odd when you think that, It's also kind of dangerous, technically speaking.
I have cousins I've met and forgotten.
Wait, dangerous? Gracie?
Well,
what was your last name?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Thinking of one of those
in the old single days. Hey, I'm over here in Nebraska. Never met anybody. What's your last name?
Griswold.
Was that while you're having a cigarette?
We got a problem.
That was during this afterglow of the cigarette, too. What?
Hello, doctor.
It's got to have 3 heads.
Doctor, I have a technical question.
Might be more of a legal question. I don't know.
I'm asking for a friend.
I wasn't so stupid as this to happen to me.
I love you, honey. You have eyes just like my mom.
Oh, man. That's the first thing you want to hear.
No, but you get these extended families. It's amazing. Some of I have some very weird family stories, and there's some really odd stuff under the rug.
Really?
Does it involve dueling banjos at all anywhere along the way?
No, one of them involved 2 large weapons, though.
Hey,
they were
that happened to my family.
They were once removed from the police.
We had an ex-husband come to my grandmother's door when I was just a kid and wanted to see his former wife, and she was there, and he pulled a gun and said, "I'm coming in." And the cops were there. I think it was
the
Christmas.
ex-wife grandma?
It was Christmas.
No, nothing that sick.
I gotta see her right now.
Hey, you let me in there. Where's my cereal bowl?
But it's
My World's Fair spoon.
my World's Fair spoon?
it's interesting, and this is kind of a serious thing, but I really recommend this to people. I'm 42. And a lot of my parents and my father died a couple years ago, and my mom's getting pretty old, and it's important to sit down and talk to them about stuff because you kind of never get around to it. It seems.
Sure.
And I sat down with a tape recorder with my father a few years ago. I'm really glad I did it. Mm-hmm. And we talked about a lot of the old. There's questions you sort of never really think about asking them. Mm-hmm. And we talked about a lot of interesting stuff, and I've got a tape of it. But I'm going to do the same thing with my mother. My mom is one of 8 children.
Oh, wow.
So she has
a lot to
She has lots of stories, some of them happy, some of them sad.
Some of them odd, no doubt.
Well, there was
Twisted, perverted.
And then you could start talking about the old neighborhood. You go, whatever happened to Mrs. So-and-so? Oh, well, you
missed her
heard.
now.
And, there's some great stuff.
Oh, man.
And I said, whatever happened to Georgie? Oh, well, I ran into his dad, and he wasn't very specific, but he's no longer alive.
Somewhere in
It
Arizona.
wasn't very specific.
And I said, what exactly? Well, apparently it was gremlin.
Okay.
But it's interesting to go back.
I wish
It is.
my grandmother told some wonderful stories, and now I'm just kicking myself because I never wrote them down. I never recorded it. One time we took a long car trip. We went to Silver Dollar City, which is in Branson, near my home. You know, Branson is now turning into this metropolis because of all the theme parks down there. But that's near where I live in Missouri. And we were taking a trip down there, and grandmother started telling us about when she was dating my grandfather. Now, this was, dating was putting it loosely because they would actually court each other. They lived, these two family farms were adjacent to each other. So these brothers that lived on one farm would all date the sisters on this other farm, and they ended up, 2 of them married to each other. So I have, great aunts and uncles on both sides of the family that they're 2 sisters married 2 brothers. But anyway, my grandmother and grandfather who ended up married to each other weren't the ones dating originally. It was my great aunt dating my grandfather, and she's the one who ended up being a nun. You remember I've told you about her.
Well, that'll do it.
And so I don't know what this says about Grandpa. Drove one of them straight into the convent. Said, "Well, there's one left. I'll marry you." No, it didn't work out that way. But it was a wonderful story. I wish I'd written it all down.
Another thing that we don't think about doing is a lot of people, of course, have video cameras and they tape their kids. But one of the things that you don't capture are their voices.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, you can on video cameras now.
Yeah, I know.
Used
But
to
it's
film.
also really cool to sit down with a cassette tape recorder someday and tape your kids' voices because it's so funny to hear them.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of years later. I wish there was a way to retrieve all my. You know how I save everything anyway.
No, I know.
If
Jeez,
there was
I can't imagine.
if I could save my phone messages, I would.
You would, wouldn't you?
Well, not all of them.
I would
I
save
saved
my
some of them
phone
for a
messages.
while.
Oh, I get some classics.
Oh, I'm sure.
But my voicemail, the one I have now, will only save them. It'll only save them for 7 days.
No, that's too
But I
bad.
wish there was a way. I suppose I had to get some.
So you go back in the 7 days and reminisce on the...
Remember last Monday?
Oh, boy, was that great.
No, but you get some classics.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, but how slow can your life be? If you're sitting around on a Sunday and you're going, damn it, no more NFL football. Let's get out the old answering machine messages.
That's worse than the slideshows, I would
know
think.
what you're talking about because I was dating a guy one time, and I had my answering machine had regular size cassettes. So if he left a message that I wanted to keep forever, I just hauled it out and dubbed it off onto another cassette. And now he's going to hell when he dies, but I'm not bitter. But
Well, good.
but I still have that stupid cassette. And I don't know why I haven't erased it or thrown it out or whatever. I think it's just, maybe I'm looking towards evidence in a court case,
Maybe it's for the trial,
Maybe I just have a
That's
litigious mind. Isn't that a song, an Elvis song, Litigious Minds?
It is.
Caught in a trap.
Will the defendant please rise? My name is Morty. I think that's how it goes.
Well, Morty, we have to take a break,
Okay,
okay? We'll come right back. You're listening to Bob and Tom.
There's something special in store at Circle Center. It's a place called Nordstrom, where our local buyers gather fashion from around the world just for you. It's a place where someone knows that though you might look alike, you and your family are not carbon copies of one another. And that it's important to offer the widest possible selection of clothing and accessories for everyone in your family, which is why Nordstrom Circle Center carries more than 150,000 pairs of shoes in 5 different departments, with women's shoe sizes 3 through 12 and widths quadruple A through double Y. And you'll find 10,000 ties, 60 sizes of dress shirts, and women's sizes 2 through 26, all for a variety of lifestyles and personalities. And all of our 29 departments are located under one roof with convenient parking at the center of town. Please join us at the new Nordstrom, now open at Circle Center. Now that you've got Nordstrom, you've got a place that works for you, right here at home.
Roseanne. Coach.
95, you're with Bob and Tom. Good morning.
We'll be speaking with Walter Payton in a few minutes. Comedian Maryann Kelly is here with us. Also, comedian Jim Klein coming in. Right now, this portion of our program is brought to you by...
The Cocktail Cove. Weekends are free at Cocktail Cove. No cover and great drink specials Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This Sunday, don't miss live music with Diver Deep Band. Everybody watch Monday Night Football on the big screen while you play pool.
With a capital P, and that rhymes with C, and that stands for Cocktail Cove. Thank you.
Eat free and drink cheap. For more information on the Cocktail Cove, the history, the founding members of
Are we
Cocktail
far
Cove.
away from a pool table that has a television across the surface? Where you can actually play pool and watch television at the same time?
You know, people make fun of my pool table because I still have that thing where you have to pay, $1.
See, I don't know what the hell are they thinking. It's just good common sense.
It's good economics.
576-9800. It's the Cocktail Cove.
Thank you,
Chick. Thank you very much indeed. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
Good morning.
And Mark Patrick's joined us in the studio along with the Gunner, who's sitting in for Christy Lee, who's in Austin, Texas.
Texas.
And Chick McGee is here with us. We're going to actually kick off. What are we going to do? Are we doing nothing here?
We could try some news.
It's
and
news
then I'll
time.
stop when Sweetness calls.
Okay, Walter Payton's going to call us.
We like to call him Sweetness.
Sweetness.
The greatest running back in the history of the NFL, by the way.
For now.
You know,
The record will never be broke.
I'm sorry. I
Never.
beg your pardon?
I don't think it will.
Sure, John Riggins isn't calling us, is he, Chick?
No.
Yeah, what's wrong with those stuck-up Redskins?
He's probably out shooting something with a shotgun.
Have you ever met? Have you ever met Riggins?
Never met Riggo. Met Russ Grimm and Joe Jacoby.
that had to be a challenge.
I never will forget when I met Joe Jacoby. I said, "Hi, Joe. How are you?"
Didn't he do that Hardee's commercial for fried chicken?
Oh, the best part was when he did the remember the Coca-Cola company had Monsters of the Gridiron?
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 years ago, and they had Jacoby on.
There.
Thank you for calling Monsters of the Midway. What's wrong with that damn dog?
I don't know, but,
bless
Here I am
bless.
painting this beautiful comedic tapestry.
I'm thinking-
he's over there
Elvis really needs
over
to
here.
visit
He's
the
my buddy.
outdoors.
The donuts in
passing along.
No, he's over here. He's hanging out with me.
Elvis, get over here with the
Hey,
donuts.
I think we have Walter Payton on the phone. Walter Payton, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing? There he is. Sweetness, how are you?
Pretty good. What about you guys?
Very good, thank you.
You've got a whole bunch of us here, Walter.
That's too bad.
And my dog is also here. He's making a kind of a disturbance right now. Mark Patrick's here with us. Marcus?
Walter, you sound a little sleepy. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. A little sleepy. I was up late last night doing some final number crunching.
For your IndyCar team?
No, not for the IndyCar team, but for some other stuff. Last week we ran in Vancouver. You know, we ended up finishing 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So we're rolling along. What are you guys up to?
Oh, this is it. Working.
Last week I had an opportunity. Mike Singletary was in Indianapolis, and we had a chance to talk with him. And I talked with him about seeing the greatest running back in the history of the game across the line from him in practice all the time. But I asked him about other runners that had impressed him through his years with the Bears. Who were some of the runners that you were always impressed with as you watched from the sidelines?
Oh, let's see. Earl Campbell was one that he was awesome. Then you look at and Tony Dorsett when he first came in there, Lawrence McCutcheon, Delvin Williams, and I'm dating myself now.
Delvin Williams. He played without a helmet, didn't he?
He played with San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Well, I guess because San Francisco had a good team, that's probably it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Billy Sims, and it goes on and on. It's a bunch of running backs.
One of the guys that Mike mentioned was James Wilder, who, because he played in Tampa Bay, probably didn't get a lot of attention, but certainly had his days against the Bears on occasion.
Yeah, he did. He ran like a madman against the Bears. I guess because all the stuff that was written about him in the paper, talking about they were going to kill him and how great the defense was. I guess, you know, run scared, you run good.
Run a lot better when you're scared.
Yeah.
Good philosophy.
That'd be the good book title.
Yeah.
You run scared, you run good.
You've been so busy with racing now. Do you get to pay as much attention to football as you'd like?
Yeah, I do. I didn't get a chance to make the season opener because we were running in Vancouver the same time they were playing. But I had my son calling me and updating me on the score. I was sitting there with my earplug in, and all of a sudden the phone rang, and he goes, "Dad, it's 7-0." Then he goes, "It's 14-7." Who? Minnesota. I said, oh God. Next thing I know, I guess the Bears got kick-started, and they just started playing pretty good.
They sure did.
Hey, Walter, this is a South Side of Chicago native. My name is Gunner. What's your take on Rashaan Salam and what his impact could be in a rookie season for the Bears?
Your name doesn't have anything to do with you being from the South Side, does it?
No.
No. Not at all.
Let's just say when he was in high school, run and shoot wasn't their offense until he got home from practice.
Okay.
Yeah, those days in Cal City were tough, Walter, but I'm doing better now.
Okay. Well, he's going to be a pretty good running back. He kind of reminds me a little bit of an Earl Campbell slash Eric Dickerson, you know. And if he can stay healthy and people could stay off his back until, you know, he really starts to do what he's supposed to do, he's going to be pretty good because a lot of this is mental. And, you know, first couple of preseason games when he got back, he had a couple of fumbles and this, and I talked to him about it and told him not to worry about it. But, you know, everybody in the world could tell you, don't worry about it. It's going to get better. It's this and this. But subconsciously, you think about that stuff, and sometimes it becomes a habit. But as long as he can continue to develop, he's going to be pretty good. He just runs a little bit too high. That's about it.
When he fumbled, is that what reminded you of Dickerson?
No.
That's what reminded us of.
No, Eric, during Eric's heyday, he didn't fumble at all. Unfortunately, you know, sometimes you make a bad decision. Everybody makes a bad decision.
He'll tell me about it, too.
Yeah, and when he left the Rams to come to Indy, I think that was a bad decision. I think it was more, you know, motivated by dollars as opposed to by the game. And sometimes that's not the that's not the path to take.
Yeah.
I think if he'd have stayed at L.A., you know, he'd have had 18,000 yards.
Hey, Walter, have you ever actually driven an Indy car?
No, and don't want to.
Really? You did at one point, though.
I race cars, Trans Ams and International Sedans, Sports 2000s, but I have no desire to sit in an Indy car. I guess, you know, it's sort of like having no desire to play Russian roulette.
I see. I'm starting to follow you now. They go very fast. They're very dangerous. So you have a great deal of respect for the drivers, then, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of them I do. Most of them, they were born doing it. You know, either their fathers did it, or they raced go-karts or something, and they just worked themselves from one stage to the other. And that's all they do. So it's not like anything else. If you practice at it and you work at it, you're going to do well at it. But don't expect to just jump out of the box and do well. And I'm so competitive. If I jumped out of the box, I would want to do well, and that would probably be my downfall in the Indy car.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because if it goes 200 miles an hour, I just want to I want to see that it does.
And that it turns left.
Well.
Well, Walter, that's really no challenge after being on Soul Train, is it?
What?
Walter was on Soul Train.
When?
What was it, Walter? What year were you on Soul Train?
You're very funny, aren't you? Do you work at the comedy club or?
No. Were you not?
Funny.
Were you not on Soul Train?
You very funny.
Oh, I think you've amused Walter.
Well, let me catch my breath, man. Oh.
Is it your kidney again?
Oh, Don Rickles has nothing on you.
Apparently he wasn't.
Walter, weren't you on Soul Train? Am I dreaming this?
Oh, my God. Oh, no, Richard Pryor. Oh.
Apparently
I guess not.
Apparently, he doesn't remember.
Get an answer.
All right, so give us some dirt on the coach. Give us a juicy story about Ditka.
So
That's what I
Ditka
want right now.
Oh, God.
Ditka comes in. He's all upset about a loss, and he says,
No, I'm not. Well, this is pre-Indy. This is when they were in Baltimore. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and we played the Colts, and we played them just the game after we had played New Orleans in New Orleans, and we had overtime where the game was 34-31, and we ended up losing by field goal. Martin Anderson, whatever the guy's name was. Anyway, next week we played in Baltimore and played the Colts. And we stunk. We didn't play that, but so we're in the locker room, and it's a small locker room down there. Ditka came in and he was ramping and raging and talking about how we looked bad and we shouldn't even be in a Bear uniform and and all of this. And I guess his climax was, everybody was so close. His climax. Well, Mike Singletary was standing next to him, and Dr. Fossier and some other body, and then I was standing next to Mike Ditka, and then Matt Suey and Steve. Anyway, so to make his final argument, to make it okay, that's it, and boom, Bears have been known to be real, tight-fisted or with money. And they don't spend a lot of money on certain things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ray Early, who was the equipment manager, he knew that money was tight, so he got a good deal on these Foot Lockers that he traveled with. And they were made out of wood, and they were coated with Teflon or whatever, which gave him real support. So Mike Ditka, in trying to make his exclamation point, he's going to punch a hole through one of these things.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So Mike, you stink, you boom. He hit it, and you could hear him go, oh.
The coach groaned.
Yeah, he's holding his breath, and then he goes, Mike, lead the team in prayer. That same breath, as he turned to Mike, he turned to Mike, lead the team. Dr. Fossier, and he says, Doc, I think I broke it.
Oh, man.
Everybody in there went down on a knee.
No doubt.
It was like second instinct, It's like, an infant nursing, all you got to do is boom, get down to the knee.
Dear God, heal Mike's hand. Yeah.
Everybody is holding their breath, because they don't want to laugh out loud, and you could tell in how they're saying the Lord's Prayer, because every time they would, Mike would say, Our Father, and once you say Our Father, it's kind of hard to do that when you're about to burst out. It's the Lord's Prayer going like, Our Father. and it's amazing that, everybody had to, and, some of these guys, they're not, born again, or they're not totally religious guys. You look at some of these guys, and they're flicking boogers and blowing. all kinds of stuff.
They're doing the air hanky out on the field.
So anyway, once the Lord's Prayer was over, nobody got up because everybody had their head in their hands laughing. I want to be seen laughing. And that's my Mike Ditka story.
Oh, and bravo, a very good one from Walter Payton, a classic.
Excellent.
Indeed.
All right.
Well, Walter, I know you got to get going.
We appreciate
thanks for
the
calling.
call.
Now, are you heading to town?
Yeah, I'll get in there. I'll get in there today.
Part of the Circle Center Mall opening and everything?
That's right.
Okay.
That's that huge, beautiful thing that they have going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. When I was down there for the Indy 500, and I spent a lot of days down there, and it's a nice addition. Very. You guys should be very proud.
I think you'll be at the finish line at the...
You got that ticket.
That's the place.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Well, what kind of shoes do you wear when you're walking around every day?
Hooga! Let's see. What kind of shoes?
Do you have a favorite? Do you have like a shoe deal, or can
Now,
you?
when you played, Walter, you were one of the few guys that wore kangaroos, right?
Well, I started, believe it or not, when I first started with the Bears, I started on AstroTurf. I wore Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
When I played on grass, I wore Wilson. And the reason I did was because the shoe felt good. It was made out of, the Wilsons that I had were made out of deerskin, so they were awesome. They felt great. Adidas, they were the only manufacturer, I guess, that dealt in wide base. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. The wider base turf shoe?
Yes.
Yeah.
And because when I ran basically on the side of my my foot, and the shoe was built at such that, you know, if you did, I ran on the corner of the shoe, on the edge of it, and the way it was built, you still got a lot of traction, so that was one of the reasons. And so when I did start wearing kangaroos, I took a pair of Adidas over there, and I said, hey, look here, do this, copy these.
There you go.
And they just looked at those shoes and say, hey, we'll just do them like the
So
a little bit different on the rubber compound or whatever. I said, well, don't change too much, and that's how they did it.
Yeah, a lot of guys spat up shoes and then will put whatever brand they have over the top of it. But they might wear a Nike, for example, and then put Adidas stripes on it if they have a deal with Adidas. And
But
they like those shoes.
in retirement, you don't have a particular shoe. You don't have a shoe deal, I guess, in retirement.
No.
See, that's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going for.
And I think with a great sense of humor like yours, I think you'd be great in the commercials for somebody. Because some of those commercials are so hostile. It's like, get these shoes or I'll kill you.
I see myself as George Foreman.
Sure. You got about 400 pounds to go, but...
Oh, yes. But, George is
He's always
Can you
happy.
imagine George 1, George 2, George 3? I'm talking George. Dad, not me, not you, the other one.
It's doing good.
That's great.
Oh, man.
Well,
Walter, thanks a lot. I know you got to run. And
finish line today at the Circle Center Mall, okay? Thanks a lot, Walter.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I
What day's
apologize.
today?
All right.
Today's Friday.
Okay.
We'll get it straight.
All
We
right.
will. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Walter.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
A classic story from Walter.
Great story.
I swear to God, he was on Soul Train. I swear to God.
I think you really offended him.
I know. I swear to God, when he was
Apparently
at
it was-
Jackson State, I've seen footage of Walter Payton on Soul Train.
Apparently, Mark,
somebody
he didn't
please
want to talk about it.
Yeah,
No, I guess he didn't. But
he was dodging that.
Yeah,
at
he
least,
was.
would somebody please, so that I don't go absolutely crazy, fax us and let me know that he was on Soul Train, and
All right.
tell me I'm not dreaming that.
I believe you.
Okay.
Because
Our fax number is 317-254-9511. We're going to take a little break. We'll come right back. We hope with a fax about Soul Train. I do a hellacious Don Cornelius impression.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
This is the Bob and Tom Show.
With Bob and Tom. Good morning.
Marky, I think we got a guy that's going to
Well,
save you on the Soul Train thing. But first,
Yes.
I want to say Maryann Kelly from the Downtown Comedy Connection is our guest. We'll talk to her in just a second. I want to remind you that we're looking for some rain today, a sunny day tomorrow, and tomorrow night we'll be at the Tipton Pork Fest.
Wear a coat.
It'll be easier. It'll be easier to flash the band. So
We like that.
wear a coat.
All right.
Morning. Good morning. You're with Bob and Tom. And do we have someone on line 3 apparently that can verify this?
Verify the Soul Train
Potential
thing? Well,
Soul Train
let
thing.
me find out. Morning, Bob and Tom Show. Who's this?
This is Steve.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Okay. Listen, tell Mark he wasn't dreaming.
Okay, Mark's right here.
Oh, Mark?
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, listen, you were right. He did was a finalist on Soul Train Dance.
See, I knew that.
Yes, about 1970.
When he was at Jackson State.
Down at Jackson State is where it was shot at.
See?
And it was a Dick Clark special. I seen it on here a couple of years ago. Whatever happened to, and they had Walter on there. And Walter Payton owned some, I don't know if he still does or not, owned some clubs up in Chicago called Studebakers.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking to him about Studebakers, and Dick Clark asked him, he said, do you still dance? And he said, no. And he said, I don't really like to. And Dick said something about, well, I remember when you did. And they went to this clip and showed Walter Payton dancing as a finalist
Well, I would recommend that if you go to see him in person, don't bring up the Soul Train thing.
No autograph photo for you.
A little bitty kid. You wouldn't think of,
No, and he had an enormous afro.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that just stuck in my mind. Don Cornelius standing next to Walter Payton with an enormous afro.
Both of them had and Walter Payton looked like an average 17-year-old skinny kid.
That's right. And so, I mean, that was stuck in my head. So when I mentioned that, were you thrown when he acted like he didn't know what?
I was. I was thinking the whole time, I said, I hope Mark asked him about that.
Yeah.
It got pretty well the spot.
Because I don't know about you, but I was feeling really awkward right then.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't throw in the bit about, their Super Bowl and having the fridge run in for TD instead of him.
Well, at that point, I mean, if he went so far the other direction on the Soul Train thing, I'm not about to mention that. Sure. Hey, Walter, you're the greatest running back in history. Mike Ditka let the fridge score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
That's why we're doing. That's why we're doing the interview, sir.
Yeah.
Put my head in a vice and turn it if you will, but I know when not to ask some questions. Okay.
It's hard enough to do these phone interviews because you can't get when they're here in the room with you.
You get eye contact, and
you can gauge it. And they can give you the no.
Y'all say no. Don't do that.
Yeah, they can give you the
one of the great things. One of the great things you missed, Steve, by not seeing the studio is Tom giving us the slash across the throat sign all the time. So, cut.
Plus the drop pen standing / frantic waving sign. But Mark doesn't get that too often, although occasionally. That's usually given to Gunner or to Chick.
Or
given to me by Bob.
Well, you can leave, Mark. I mean, how it is.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel bad. We've gotten several calls that verify that they've seen this clip from Soul Train, and as soon as I can figure out how to get the paper in the fax machine, we may get some faxes for people to. So I feel better about it.
Steve, thanks for calling.
Maybe somebody will send you a clip of it or something.
Well, I'll call my man Don Cornelius.
All right, thanks for calling. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. So I think you've been. I think you've been justified.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever? You're just positive of something, and then all of a sudden
they deny it.
Or you just...
you just...
It's just like, man, did I dream that? How did I come up with that?
Yeah.
So, I feel better.
But I don't know if it's a good analogy, but I once won $20 because I had the names of the Bee Gees right, and my friend was sure he did, and he was wrong.
It's just like that, Marion.
It's a related incident.
Oh, you're really funny. Are you the comedian?
You go
You Don Rickles?
Are you Richard Pryor?
Hold on.
Oh, man.
Morning, Bob and Tom Show.
Good morning, Bob and Tom.
Yes. Don Cornelius?
The host of Soul Train? Don, good morning.
I'm now the executive producer of Soul Train.
I see.
Of course you knew that.
Who's hosting now?
I don't know, some young black man.
Emmanuel Lewis, right?
Well, Don, thanks for calling.
I'd like you to know that you're all terribly mistaken about this Walter Payton.
Oh, are we?
Was Mr. Payton on Soul Train or not?
No, never. It was back in 19... I remember it like it was yesterday. It was actually back in early 1969. It was Walter Brennan.
It was.
Oh, the actor from The Real McCoys.
Get those two mixed up all the time.
Well, he and Pepina doing a little dance together?
Hey, Pepina, get off that donkey. God damn it.
Take a letter, Pepina.
Luke, where is Sassy? Or Sissy? What the Cassie? You
That's
Cassie?
some sort of honky humor. I'm not actually getting that, but actually, Walter's here with me right now.
Is he now?
Well, yeah, he went into hiding. He faked his own death.
Oh, he faked his
Walter
own
Brennan, the
Walter
actor?
Brennan is here.
So he's
Can you put him on the phone?
Yes,
He's
Wasn't he in
alive.
State Fair?
He's alive. Walter?
Dad, damn it! Do the hustle!
What did he say? I thought he was calling me a name.
No. You said, dag nabbit, do the hustle.
Good thing your listeners can't read lips.
He did not call you a name. He said, dag nabbit, do the hustle.
And of course, our salute to Walter continued.
Oh, did it?
In 1970, we had Walter Mondale.
Oh.
Fritz Mondale was on the show?
Yes, oddly enough, he's here also.
Really? So it's like, fine.
Do the hustle with Geraldine Farrar? I mean...
Well, just give him the phone and have him say something boring.
God, it's hard to work these bits from the other side over here.
We got to get a computer. I'm sorry, what?
Maybe Mr. Mondale just left the room.
All right.
Certainly
gee,
the air did, Don.
Did you have any baseball greats in the room?
Walter Johnson, Big Train, of course, was on that was early '60s.
Yeah,
Was Walter Pidgeon ever on? I mean,
The Pigeon, of course. Walter Zach.
how about Barbara Walters?
Barbara Walter.
Was she ever on Soul Train?
Barbara, no. She's
Never?
way too white.
Well, of course she is.
Maybe Walter Cronkite?
Actually, Walter Pigeon has just walked into the room.
Walter Pigeon.
How convenient.
He faked his own death also, I gather.
Yes, he did, as a matter of fact.
Could we speak with Walter Pigeon?
Robert Tom Walter Pigeon.
Sounds like Walter Cronkite.
Why don't you save that for the next one? Hand the phone back to Don and see if Walter Cronkite's in the room.
You know, until you said Walter Cronkite, I had a great Walter Pigeon in mind. I thought, damn it, this is one of the rare opportunities you ever get to do a Walter Pigeon impression.
Well, I don't think enough people know what Walter Pigeon sounds like, so you're pretty much...
It was going to be so damn right on.
Now it's turning into Bob Knight.
Yeah.
How you're doing... Well, that would be interesting. Walter Cronkite starting to talk like Bob Knight.
How would the news go?
God damn son of a... Who the screwed up my teleprompter? That's the way I piss.
Oh, boy.
September 7th, 1995.
Thank you.
You people, if you don't like this news.
That's good.
Could you hand the phone back to Don?
There's a lot of white guys hanging out at Soul Train Central there.
Notice
What's
that?
going on?
Let's talk to Don.
Don? Don?
Hey, Don?
Hang on, I'll let you talk to one other Walter.
Who would that be?
Because I have to get to the lodge meeting.
Is it little Walter?
Who is
Give
it?
the phone to Walter.
How are you this time, man? Huh? Oh, okay, he just went. Jeez, I'm freezing.
Who was that?
Who was that?
That's, of course, Walter Disney. I think we better hang up and go right now.
That's it.
Fine. Thank you, Don Cornelius. Well,
All right, clear everything up.
as soon as Mark brought up Soul Train, I knew that we'd just done this.
Mm-hmm.
We had just opened a can of worms. Okay, well,
I'm not a polar bear.
fine.
That was like a cross between Don King and Uncle Remus doing the
Yeah, I know.
doing the
Yeah.
Don Cornelius.
Don Cornelius needs work.
was
I'm sorry.
horrible.
Well, I think we covered about all the Walters.
I think you're right. You got
Couple
a few
of the
factors.
faxes are pouring in now that Walter Payton was on Soul Train. I too saw Soul Train footage featuring Sweetness, name withheld upon request, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
So you weren't
Thank you, Mark.
dreaming.
I'm vilified.
I've had that happen
I'm on
before.
top of the world.
I've had that happen before in a celebrity interview where you ask a question about something and they deny it.
Mm-hmm. No, that never happened.
Well, he never denied it, but
Yeah,
he obviously just didn't want to talk about it, and I didn't understand why. I mean, it's something that happened.
Who knows?
It wasn't.
Well, they probably made an accident in Canton. His bust has the afro that he had on Soul Train. In Canton, took up 2 spaces, huge. Well, never mind.
Okay, well, that again was Gunner when you see Sweetness at that appearance tomorrow at the finish line.
That's the sound of that can of worms reopening.
I may go down and mention it to him.
Yeah,
I'm going to
please
walk up
do.
as just an average fan.
Sure.
Well, mention Soul Train to Sweetness if you see him.
See
Yeah,
what
that'll,
happens.
that'll help. Okay, well, we're going to talk with our guest now. Comedian Maryann Kelly is here with us. We were talking about your Tonight Show appearance. Did it go well in general?
Very well. I was very happy. They're really nice. They do a lot to put you at ease. 6 or 7 people just whose whole job it is to walk around going, "Is there anything you need? Can we get something for you?"
I've had one of the comedians in the program tell me that just before they did their first Tonight Show appearance, I guess there's a curtain they pull back, and the guy said, "It's your career." He pulled the curtain.
Wow.
I'll tell you the truth. I mean, I have all kinds of wacky stories about it, but one truthful thing is my mom asked me this. She says, was there any, were you okay? Were you nervous? And I was like, well, yeah, of course I was nervous, but I kept telling myself that I wasn't because I knew if I heard my own mouth say I was nervous, that was it. I was dead. So I was really doing very well. And, Jay Leno stopped in my dressing room, said, how you doing? You okay? I was fine. Jim Brogan, the man who books you on the show, you doing okay? Fine. So I get out there, and there's a monitor you stand next to right before you walk out, and the band is playing you on and everything. And then they go, the band quits, and Jay goes, okay, I'm glad we got a good crowd tonight for a comedian. And I experienced this moment, which I've only heard described by women going into labor as the point of no return. It was this nanosecond of absolute terror. And it really, it went by so fast that if I wasn't there, I wouldn't have known it. But it was just like, I can't get out of this now. I have to go out there. But it was really cool. And they, like I said, they do everything they can to make you comfortable. Very nice.
What was some of your opening treatise, if you will?
Well, you remember I've told you about my great aunt who's a nun.
Right.
I talked about her. I told about, she's 80 years old. She's been in a convent since she was 18.
Really?
Yeah. You might not think we'd have that much to talk about.
Yeah.
It was depressing how much we had in common. Sexual revolution is almost over. I didn't fire a shot. I had to go to the doctor, and get a checkup. That man came right out and asked me, how long has it been since you lost your virginity? I said, well, which time? Isn't there a statute of limitations on that?
Don't you get it back?
I mean, after 5 years, don't I get it back? I'll fill out the paperwork. Come on, give me a break here. My doctor asks weird questions. He says, you're over 30 now. You hear that biological clock ticking? I said, no, I've never heard that sound. I don't think I have a biological clock. He said, oh, yeah, all women have a biological clock. Well, I guess mine's digital. You know what I mean? You don't hear it. Once in a while you glance over and go, geez, look at the time.
Would you look at that?
It was 10 minutes ago I got here. So,
There are not a lot of women on the comedy circuit. There are a few. There are a handful.
Yeah, well, we are a small percentage. I couldn't even begin to tell you. My guess would be about 10% of the comics working out there are women, but it could be more or less. I don't know.
Easier? Harder?
Well, from my point of view, it's harder because, for one thing, a lot of places you stay. This is, by the way, the best club. This is my favorite club in the world because they take such good care of us here, and we stay at a lovely place where we each get our own little apartment. But
you don't always get that?
Oh, heck no. You get this, what's euphemistically known as a comedy condo, which is sort of like boot camp and frat house all combined, and you're just all of it thrown in there together. It's because a lot of these clubs were something else before they were comedy clubs, and they probably used to putting up bands, or strippers or whatever.
Strippers.
Strippers, that'd be a way to go. And so you find yourself rooming with these comics, and they may be real nice guys, but I didn't come to town to be somebody's roomie. And so that's tough. And the traveling is tough when you're doing it by yourself. And I also think, this is my own opinion, but I think audiences are tougher on a female comic. They're demanding more because, there's a lot they're not going to let you get away with because you're a woman, So that's just my opinion, my point of view.
I think it's like being a female sportscaster. You have to know more about sports than the guys do because everybody kind of looks at you with
sure.
And I've also had people heckle me with more brutality and cruelty than I've ever imagined them heckling a man. They'll zero in on something about my looks or my weight, and first time that happened to me, I was lucky to get off stage without crying. Well, a week later, somebody did the exact same thing, and I'd had a week to think about it. And I was just going, what I should have said to that other guy, and so
you said it, right?
So I said it. I unloaded on this one guy for about 7 minutes.
Jeez.
Well,
Well, it was that time of month.
No.
That's the kind of sensitivity you came on the show for, isn't it?
Exactly.
Good job, Bob.
Thank you, Bob, for making my point for me.
Thank you.
You're real funny. Are you blowing?
We'll be back with more on WPMS.
Thank you. We're going to take a little break.
Yeah,
You think we should?
Sure, we have to come back. We also we have lots of things to do. We'll get them all done, I promise. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
Roseanne.
Q Indianapolis, Q95. You're with Bob and Tom. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Comedian Maryann Kelly is here with us. We'll be talking with comedian Jim Klein in a couple of minutes here. I want to remind everybody that we're going to be at the Tipton Pork Fest tomorrow night. Woo! The Bob and Tom Band. Join us about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I guess, on the big stage in Tipton. Eat pork And
eat lots of it.
We'll also have the Electric
Great
Amish joining us on stage as part of our segment there. So we'll have a big-time fun. Also, Jimmy Reiser is going to be playing with us tomorrow night.
Great.
So that'll be a kind of a fun show and fairly complicated with lots of new players. So, hey, what's the next song called? I don't know. How do you play it?
I don't know.
We'll learn them. We'll get it done. It'll happen. Look for a nice day tomorrow with partly sunny skies. Today, a little bit of rain in the forecast and pretty gray here and there. Another nice day coming up on Sunday. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
Yes, and believe it or not, it's time for news.
All right.
So we'll do a kind of a combination news, entertainment news here.
We could, sure.
All right.
Want to do that? All right.
Sure.
The FBI
Yes,
reportedly investigating designer Calvin Klein's latest advertising campaign.
they are.
The campaign shows young people in what some describe as provocative situations. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Critics blast the ads as child pornography. The Wall Street Journal quotes Justice Department spokesman Carl Stern as saying that the FBI is looking now into whether any of the models in the ads are minor.
Wait a minute, Floyd. Isn't that famed defense attorney turned superhero Johnny Cochran? He's a Furminator.
Hasta la vista, Bubba. Johnny Cochran is the Furminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. I said Schwarzenegger. Oh, sorry, bro. Coming soon to a theater near you. Johnny Cochran is the Furminator. I'll be black.
I'll be black.
Yeah, they're famous.
See, they're all going to different careers.
yeah.
The Terminator.
You betcha.
Should be a good film.
Oh, my.
Can't wait.
Is my dog over there?
Yeah, he's wandering around.
Elvis, get back over here.
The donut dog. He's the new mascot for Krispy Kreme now.
Give him a couple Krispy Kreme donuts. He'll never leave you.
Bob Packwood says he's leaving the Senate. They say that a lot about Bob Packwood.
Yep.
Because of sexual and official misconduct allegations, but it's not clear just when he's going to leave the Senate. Majority Leader Bob Dole tells CNN that Packwood will hang on for up to 2 months to tie up some loose ends. He says during that period, the Oregon Republican will remain nominal chairman of the Finance Committee.
Jesus, he's been so good today.
He has been a good dog.
Hey, bud. Let's see. You move the donuts. By the way,
He's sniffing your butt, Bob.
Oh, good.
Well, who doesn't?
that's how Bob and I start off every
I
morning.
think you're interrupting a little moment between Bob and the dog.
Hi, Tom.
Big soul
Hi,
kiss.
Bob.
Big soul kiss, and we're off.
Hey,
You know,
you eat barbecue last night, Bob?
you know, Marion, he's a bomb. He's a trained bomb sniffing dog.
He is.
As long as the bomb's shaped like another dog's butt. Why,
By the way, speaking of Bob Packwood, I
Bob Packwood.
just want to let you know that he's going to get $90,000 a year of your tax dollars for retirement.
For retirement. You bet.
because he resigned, but had he been kicked out, he wouldn't have gotten that.
I think. That's right.
Speaking of sniffing, forget sleeping pills. Take a whiff of lavender. British medical researchers found that the sweet smell of lavender oil helped 4 elderly insomniacs fall asleep more quickly and sleep longer.
Yeah, but if they're wearing lavender, you're sleeping with a guy.
If you're wearing sleep on your back.
Lavender.
Yeah, sleep on your back. There it is.
Ready? Change of venue and a new judge might be coming in the Oklahoma City bombing case. The Tulsa World is reporting the government is expected to ask today that the trial of Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols be moved from Oklahoma City to Tulsa. The paper also quotes McVeigh's lawyer as saying...
His lawyer must be from Oklahoma. I want to get it completely wasted. No, let's move it to Tulsa.
Yeah,
That'll help.
Go to Hartford.
Now that's a change of venue.
Moving it.
Did you hear what they asked originally? They wanted to go to Fairbanks, Alaska.
Fairbanks?
No
See,
way.
they should have taken bailiff. That's when you just shoot the lawyer.
Fairbanks?
Fairbanks, yeah, that'll be pretty convenient.
They don't have TV there, do they?
I think that's sort of the point.
Yeah.
What's a good clue that John F. Kennedy Jr. is on his way over? Well, maybe a few clinking noises. That was one of the running jokes on the set of Murphy Brown. I'll have to explain it to you. Hang on. John briefly worked over there on a cameo appearance for the show's season premiere. He has that new magazine called George. One insider says a frequent whisper around the set while awaiting his arrival was, You'd know when he got there by the sound of women's wedding rings falling onto the floor.
Oh, really?
Clink, clink. Murphy Brown starts his new season a week from Monday, and John had this to say at a news conference yesterday.
About his new magazine?
About his new magazine, yeah. He answered some questions.
The answers to the most frequently asked personal questions are as follows. Yes, no, we're merely good friends, none of your business, honest, she's my cousin from Rhode Island. I've worn both, maybe someday, but not in New Jersey. Thank you.
Okay. I guess that comedy career is not
going to happen. Of course, in the never-ending search for truth or a reasonable facsimile. The Bob and Tom Show came up with the actual news.
The real audio, the unedited audio.
The unedited, yeah. They didn't want
the answers to the most frequently asked personal questions are as follows.
Yeah, John, is it true that your Uncle Teddy is a bubbling old fat drunk pervert?
Yes.
And has anybody in your family ever done an actual honest day's work?
No.
Did you ever sleep with Bob Packwood?
We're merely good friends.
How tall are you?
None of your business.
Didn't I see you out to dinner with Barney Frank?
Honest, she's my cousin from Rhode Island.
Can you tell us a little about Daryl Hannah and the new chick you're dating?
I've worn both.
Do you think you'll ever do an honest day's work in your life?
Maybe someday.
Is it true that your dad, JFK, slept with a woman in every state in the Union?
But not in New Jersey.
Bravo. Dickie Goodman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's see. More entertainment news. Patrick Swayze says it takes a lot more than slipping on a dress to play a drag queen. You know what it takes?
What's it take, Jake?
Well, the high hard one, I think, is what it takes. Swayze says he had to play Vita
What does that mean?
as a woman or it wouldn't work. Swayze says you have to lose the man. Once he did, though, Swayze says it got really, really emotional and started messing with me.
He's a dancer. That's all we need to know.
To Wong Fu, thanks for
you're
everything.
cute.
Julie Newmar opens today.
Did anybody notice that John F. Kennedy Jr. sounds like Kevin Costner?
Oh, he does. A little bit, yeah.
Listen to this.
The answers to the most frequently asked personal questions are...
Okay. With a little bit of a lisp.
Is it true that your Uncle Teddy is a bubbling old fat drunk pervert?
Yes.
And has anybody in your family ever done an actual honest day's work?
No.
Did you ever sleep with Bob Packwood?
We're merely good friends.
So he does sound like that.
Yeah,
a lot.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
This is something for you, Mark. Harrison Ford is urging senators to remember the courageous people of Tibet.
Harrison Ford is turning into Martin Sheen. Have you noticed?
What?
The star was in Washington yesterday to speak before the East Asian and Pacific Affairs subcommittees. Ford told lawmakers...
And now to speak Han Solo.
I've handcuffed myself to the Tibetan embassy.
Yes, he's handcuffed. Ford told lawmakers the U.S. shouldn't forget about the Tibetan people in an effort to repair the strained relationship with China. China annexed Tibet in 1951, and they've been getting along quite well, thank you, with no help from Harrison. Ford says the cause of the Tibetan people touches at the core of American values.
What we have here is a clear and present danger.
The exiled Tibetan religious leader, the Dalai Lama, is to visit Washington next week.
Good authority.
Richard Gere's lover.
Dolly. Hello, Dolly. Well, there was a picture of him yesterday in the paper with Jesse Helms.
Dolly and Jesse.
At Dollywood?
No, different one.
Wouldn't that be? That's in Tibet. Dollywood.
Hello, it's
Dolly.
New Dolly there.
New Dollywood. Wow.
Hello.
Finally, this morning, ER seems to be the show to beat going into this weekend's 47th annual Primetime Emmy Awards show, which a couple of friends of ours, remember? Carla Felicia and Paul
Gilmartin.
Paul Gilmartin
are
wrote
writing
a lot of the content.
some of the stuff for that.
NBC's Hospital show has 23 nominations, including Best Drama Series, and nods for all 6 of its principal cast members. NYPD Blue has 13, also including Best Drama Series. Rounding out the Best Drama Series category, Chicago Hope, Law & Order, and The X-Files. Top comedy nominee is Frasier with 12 nominations. It's the first listing in the Best Comedy Series category. Also includes Friends, The Larry Sanders Show, Mad About You, and Seinfeld. Angela Lansbury goes into Sunday night's show hoping finally to win something for the first time in 15 tries. Well, she hasn't won the first 14 times because, well, she sucks. She's up once again as Best Dramatic Actress for Murder, she wrote. The Primetime Emmys will be telecast from Pasadena on the Fox network. I think they're on Sunday night, I think. Yeah, Sunday night. And that's news and entertainment.
Thanks, Chick.
Thank you, Chickster. We're going to take a little break. Come right back. You're listening to Bob and Tom.
And this just in.
9:17 at Q95. You're with Bob and Tom. Good morning.
Good morning. This portion of our program is sponsored.
Yes,
It's brought to you by Jack's Tool Rental. For rent. But did you know Jack's Tool Rental does sell concrete finishing tools?
Didn't know that.
Masonry and bricklaying tools, drywall tools and accessories, plaster and painting tools, concrete mixers. You can buy a concrete mixer. Can you buy a concrete mixer?
Sure. No, it's a bunch of guys and gals standing in concrete.
You rent them.
I thought that was
a tool.
Isn't a concrete mixer for people who have just gotten into the concrete business?
I used to go to a lot of those when I lived in Brownsburg.
Sure. Well, I thought you emceed them. Don't you emcee those?
Yeah,
the concrete mixer?
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Sacrete and mortar mixers, mixing tubs, concrete buckets.
Virtually everything. They have it. They rent it.
And don't forget about toilets.
Do they have stopwatches at Jack's?
Yes, they do. Don't be a tool, rent one. Jack's Tool Rental in.
Thank you.
Carmel.
This is the Bob and Tom Show. Welcome back.
I love doing that.
You got beat up a lot in grade school, didn't
Sure
you,
I
Chick?
did. Oh, God, every day.
I'm just guessing.
Just not hard enough.
Come here, fat ass. Get you beaten every day.
Mere fat ass, get your beat.
Every
It's
day.
a self-concept
Or
problem.
was that
here.
Dad? I can't remember that.
And then they'd say, hey, I want you to...
I can't remember if that was Dad or...
School or dad? Oh, man.
And then they say, I want you to read this little poem I've read.
I could tell you a story that would make everyone in this room feel very sorry for me right now.
Let's go.
Good. Why don't we suck all the air out of the room before you do it? Go ahead. I'm ready to hear it now.
No, I don't want to.
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear it now.
I was a stutterer when I was a kid. Did I ever tell you this story? No, I was.
You were a fat stutterer?
Uh-huh. And I can remember sitting at the dinner table and trying to tell him the story, and Dad hit me on the head and spit it out.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
That's heart-wrenching, Chick.
Chick, I'm teary-eyed.
And then of course, I masturbated all.
Did you spit that out too?
I'm leaving, man.
He's talented if he has the
Maryann,
option.
welcome to the locker room.
I'm sorry,
I feel
Maryann.
so honored.
Maryann Kelly is here. We're going to talk to Maryann in just a second. Also, we've got Jim Klein standing by. In fact, Jim is a lawyer, so he can just come in here and sue for Maryann.
There you are.
Right.
My legal representative is coming in.
Would you like a house in Broad Ripple?
Taking notes.
You could have mine.
He's taking notes.
Yeah, some woman's going to own it eventually. It might as well be you.
There's several on the waiting list that are employed in this building.
Right now, we're going to talk with Mark Patrick briefly. The topic today is sports the way he sees it, pal. And Marcus, what's on your mind today?
I'd like to take you back to my junior year at Brownsburg High School.
Excellent. Okay, it's Confession Friday. Go ahead.
Don't tell me you were a stutterer, too.
No.
Were you masturbating a lot?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know how yet.
But when he found out, let me...
Skin that cat, baby. Skin that cat.
He's still catching up.
I'd taken my best friend's sister out on a date because I really liked her a lot, and she didn't like me, but she didn't have the guts to tell me that, so she went out with me, and we went to Pizza Hut, and I got her a Flintstones glass and everything. Wow. So then I had enough confidence that I was almost going to ask her out again. So she said she was busy, and so on Friday night. And so I said, well, what about Saturday? And she said, well, I'm going to the state wrestling finals. And so I said, well, I can take you. So she went. So she was like stuck. She just goes, okay. And
And then?
well, I cleaned up my dad's Caprice.
Yeah.
I hope
Even,
it was leather.
vacuumed the velour seats and picked her up early on Saturday morning, and we got down there about 9 o'clock. And about 9:20, she went over and sat with another guy. And about 2:30, I went over and asked her if she wanted to go home yet.
Couldn't get the hint, huh, Mark?
And she said, no, I think I'll stay.
Uh-huh.
So
See ya.
I got back into the Caprice and
Started masturbating.
no, I didn't know how yet.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know how yet, so I just drove home. And
Look, that car's swerving. What's going on?
He's not driving with any hands.
That's a pretty clean car. Oh, except for...
So I went home, locked myself in my room, and started memorizing one of my statistic books.
There you go.
My mom's like, "What are you reading that for? That's never going to do you any good."
Here, take this swank. This will help.
I seem to have opened a can of worms.
I've got a gut-wrenching story from you.
Can we save it?
Can we save it? Let's,
I was in Cedar Lake on this boat.
I don't want to hear about this.
Okay.
That was not a gut-wrenching.
You guys-
We have a lady
sorry.
present.
You make me miss my brothers so
I'm sure we do.
You know, I'm not
you
sure.
know
how
the
to-
way you miss a rash when it goes away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that, frankly.
Well,
In sports, Marky?
well, one of the most uncomfortable moments in my career took place earlier on this program.
Just today.
Would that be the one where I was under the table laughing?
Yes.
Okay.
When Walter Payton, I just kind of make
Denied.
an offhand comment about him being on Soul Train, and he compared me to Don Rickles.
You're really funny.
It was sort of like a Joe Pesci soprano.
Michael Jackson, Joe Pesci kind of mixture.
You amuse me.
And
What is it about you that amuses me?
I had an enormous moment of doubt there that I had somehow dreamed this up, but we've since gotten verification from several people that Walter was in fact on Soul Train. A lot of faxes and more telephone calls. So
But he's chosen to forget that, so we're not going to bring it up.
Obviously,
again.
we are not going to remember that at
Wants
all.
to be remembered by his football, not by his dancing, obviously. So,
Obviously. So,
all right.
so be it, and Godspeed.
Okay.
Godspeed, Patrick.
Let's talk with comedian Maryann Kelly. Now, it's Marion, not Marianne.
That's correct.
Now,
Mariann.
did you spend a lot of your childhood saying, no, Mariann?
As a matter of fact, yes, because I have two cousins named Mary Ann and Mary Jane.
Okay.
We're always mixing the three of us up.
No doubt.
But it's Marion. Now, you
Marion.
you travel all over the country. You're just on the Tonight Show. Do you travel primarily, do you have to fly everywhere? Do you live in L.A. and to fly
Yeah,
out of
now
there?
I have to fly almost everywhere, and I don't like planes anyway because I had a scary experience on a plane once. And
Did you?
Yeah, I did. You know, when I was flying out of Denver once, they had what they call an aborted takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a euphemism.
Yeah.
It kind of means you taxi down the runway picking up speed, and there's a name for how fast you have to be going when you lift off. I think it's called really, really fast.
I think you're right.
Technical word, you know, and that's how fast we were going. Instead of taking off, they shut the engines down. They stopped. So what you have here is like 200 people going, what?
Sure.
Excuse me, flight attendant, is there a disagreement in the cockpit? You know, because we can all picture them up there going, I'll pull this plane over if you don't shut up. You know, settle this right here on a tarmac, buddy. This is my turn to drive. But it didn't get scary till they told us why they aborted the takeoff. That amazed me that they even told us why, like we needed this information.
Sure. Well, they all
said,
people
oh, yeah.
would have asked, though.
Well, they said they had an indicator light come on the, dashboard. Yeah.
I'm with you there.
You're right here with me.
What do you call it?
And this light told him, this is what they said. The light told him there was engine trouble. I'm going, engine trouble? They told us this. They were deciding whether to take off. And they decided not to.
Good
call. I was with them 100%.
Yeah.
Then they have to figure out what to do. They got a rule. There's a set of procedures they have to go through if they have a light come on. I think it was me. I'd start by tapping on the glass, see if that light will go out. You know,
Sure.
Been there, too.
one more ride out of this bird. You know. But what they end up doing is put us on a different airplane, and they have a name for that too. Do you know what that's called? They change airplane. It's called an equipment change.
Equipment change.
Not an airplane change.
No.
It's like whatever they put you on, there's a chance it might not be an airplane. They said 3 or 4 times, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have an equipment change on this flight. New piece of equipment will be at gate 5. I'm like, okay, so we're going to Seattle and what may or may not be a backhoe. I had one little item in the news because Chick was reading the news. I read this the other day. It tickled me. The Denver International is finally open. You know, the new big airport.
sure.
Years of delays, it seemed like.
And all the delays were the same reason. It was problems with the automated baggage handling system that they designed just for this airport. So apparently what the problem was is it takes machines a lot longer than humans to open your luggage and rifle it for valuables.
Sure.
I had one more news item. Do I have time?
Yeah, sure.
The state of Maryland every year, I read about this. This is so funny. Hosts the Nude Summer Olympics. Isn't that great? Nude Summer Olympics. You imagine they having trouble getting up a team for the pole vault?
I would think.
You know, and my next question is, I want to know if there's a relay race in the nude Olympics, you know, because you have to take off running and reach back for the baton.
That's not the baton!
Here it is!
God, that's a heavy baton.
You know, I think I would be more frightened with the hurdles than anything.
Yeah, I thought of that, too. The high hurdles is strictly a women's sport in the nude Olympics.
Are those wood or fiberglass? This is important information that I need.
This matters. You need to know this.
You bet.
By
Wow.
golly, wear your protective cup. This is also National Peanut Month, which means if Jimmy Carter sees his shadow, Clinton has 6 more weeks of voter approval.
Very good.
Well, I think you saw his shadow. That's about it.
Well, Maryann Kelly, thank you. We're going to come
My
back
pleasure.
with Jim Klein.
Yep.
And other stuff.
Okay.
So let's hang.
You're listening to Bob and Tom. Galleons. Expert.
Evening on the main stage, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. We'll have some fun with our bands. We'll see you there. This is the Bob and Tom Show. Welcome back. And comedian Jim Klein is here with us in the studio. Jim is from where I grew up. You're from the greater Cleveland area.
Beautiful Cleveland, Ohio area.
Am I correct in saying you're from the east side? Are you?
East side, Shaker Heights.
That's where I'm from.
Yes, the home of the wealthy, except for me. I'm the token poor guy.
And Tom.
Yeah. Well, I actually had to drive my own car to school when I was a kid, so it was kind of sad. You know? I would pretend to be the chauffeur. You know, it was kind of a nice deal, though. I swear, I had a Cadillac to drive to school. It's
Did
so
you really?
embarrassing.
Wow.
Gee, how unusual, a Jewish kid with a Cadillac. What a strange thing. Sedan DeVille, and the kid down the street from me, honest to God, had a 65 Fleetwood limousine from a funeral home. So every morning it looked like a funeral procession going to school, you know, which was great because we didn't have to stop for red lights. You know, we could just go right through.
Sure, as long as you got your headlights on.
Yeah.
Now, you are a former practicing attorney. I mean, you were actually an active attorney and working in the business.
Yes, I'm retired now. Well, disbarred, but you know,
Sure.
things happen.
Yeah.
Apparently, when the judge overrules your objection, you're not supposed to go overrule this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's something you won't be seeing in the O.J. trial.
No.
Well, actually, you might at this point. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe their last.
It's almost over, thank God.
No,
No?
it's going into syndication. You didn't hear?
I didn't know that.
The ratings were great, and they're not sure if they're going to stay with O.J., though. He hasn't been pulling in the queue, you know, so they're thinking maybe they'll go with a different leading man next time, somebody, you know, to play his role.
I'm sure someone will fill his shoes.
Now, from a legal standpoint, do you have any observations being a lawyer?
You know, what cracks me up, though, is people get so upset over the trial. How can the lawyers get away with what they're doing? That's just ridiculous. You know, has anybody noticed that the lawyers are the only people that don't swear to tell the truth in the courtroom? You know? Maybe that has something to do with it, you know. And there's a reason. If we put our hand on the Bible, it's bursting into flames. So that just doesn't look good in front of jurors anyway. You know, that whole thing is just nuts. You know, they're looking. You're watching the TV coverage, and they're looking for sponsors for the TV coverage, you know, which is not a bad idea. I mean, here's a chance for Tide to show us how they get those bloodstains out. It's not a bad idea.
No, it isn't. Oh, yeah, we're used to, you know, so we grew up watching television. We're used to watching Perry Mason and all these other lawyer shows and the real slick drama, and you'll watch what's going on actually in the court, and it's pretty boring.
Oh yeah, it's
really
incredibly boring. And that's why I'm doing this, which is, you know, boring, but you know, but I get a hat, and that's what's nice.
Hey, nice.
Now, when you're on the road, what do you do? When in your spare time?
Oh, basically hang out. I like to go. You have some weird stores here in town, man. I was out shopping, and you have maybe the strangest group of stores I've ever seen in my life. There is a tobacco store, 500 discount liquors, and Don's Guns, all right next door to each other. It's like one-stop shopping for disgruntled postal workers right there. You have to go any further. I'm all set. Let's go back to the office. I can't figure that
Great
stuff
lunch,
out.
yeah.
You know?
We're speaking with comedian Jim Klein. Did you drive here or fly?
I drove in, which was a lot of fun, man. Could you have just a little more construction on your roadways here?
Sorry.
You know? Every 12 feet, there's a sign, and it's the sign, and this is one I love. It says, construction, slow down, give them a break. Give them a break, slow down. You know, maybe if we sped up and they were worried about having their butt run over, they might work a little faster.
Careful.
You know, as long as the cars are going slow, hey, we got plenty of time to finish this job. What the heck? It's just...
It's been never ending. This place has been under construction since we've been here.
Oh, it's
nonstop.
Yeah, and wherever I go, and I'm running into... I was down in Texas. This really ticked me off. I'm driving through Texas, and, you know, it's only about 12,000 miles long, the state of Texas. So I got caught speeding, and the guy pulls me over. And thank God he pulled me over, because I might have hit a tumbleweed or something like that at the speed I was going. And the guy goes, well, I'm sorry, sir, but you were doing a tad bit over the speed limit. I'm thinking, how bad can a tad be? Well, Tad is apparently Texan for $250.
Hello.
A friend of mine doing a crap load is still in prison, so I really feel pretty good about it.
Tad.
Oh, man.
We're going to take a little break and come right back. We've got comedian Jim Klein visiting, and we have much more stuff coming up.
All right.
And you are listening to The Bob and Tom Show.
You've been talking forever about getting new furniture, but you put it off, right?
Like excuse number 99.
9:42 at Q95. You're with Bob and Tom. Good morning.
Coming up later on at Q95 today, it's the Hoosier Lotto Cash Song. Be listening for the Cash Song today. Your opportunity to win potentially $3 million from the Hoosier Lottery. The Romantics, What I Like About You, and Roundabout by Yes are those cash songs to listen for with Jimmy Mad Dog Matus later on today. Also, Jill might play it, is that
Or
correct?
Gunner.
Or Gunner, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So sometime today on Q95 that will happen.
All right.
This is the Bob and Tom Show, and
Morning.
joining us in the studio, it's comedian Jim Klein.
Howdy.
What else is going on in your life? Anything interesting?
Not much. Well, I'm kind of excited because I just got my new membership in the Mark Furman Record and Tape Club, which is kind of a nice deal. Yeah, every month they send you a new slur, which is kind of a fun deal. This month it's Why I Hate the Amish, which is kind of a cool one. I can't quite figure it out. Actually, it's fun because I came through your northern part of your state, and those people, I'll tell you, the Amish, they are still celebrating the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opening.
Are they?
Yeah, they all look like ZZ Top. It is so cool.
They do.
Yeah, and that's the women, so these people are into.
You know it.
Did you go check out the Hall of Fame at all?
Haven't been back yet. I want to see Elvis's panties. I'm looking forward to that. But
they have a collection there.
Yeah, it's a scratch and sniff collection, which is kind of a nice thing.
Little white cotton penny.
Boy, there's an image I'm not going to get out of my mind right now. Thanks a lot.
No way.
What else is going on?
Oh, just, kind of hanging out. Played a little golf here in town. Had a good time out at your lovely Eagle Creek golf course. Good time out there. Yeah, which I can't figure out. Playing golf, you can tell a lot about a sport by the kind of awards they give out. Like hockey, the Stanley Cup, Lombardi Trophy in football. What do they have in golf? They have the Masters. You get a green jacket. Yeah, it's ugly clothing. Just pretty much sums up the whole sport right there. Well, we figured you had the pants to go with this. What the hell? Here's a green jacket.
And also or a cup, but they also follow it with a big old check. You notice that?
That's true. Exactly. Do you have to have a giant deposit slip then to deposit that thing?
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. And what really sucks is you try to use that night depository on the ATM with that giant check. You're folding for hours trying to get it in that slot. It just makes no sense.
That would be very tough. I never thought about that. Jim Klein has been our guest. Is there an explanation for the spelling of your name? Your last name is spelled Kline.
That's correct.
And Patsy Cline is Cline, and Robert Klein is Klein.
Well, actually, Klein is a German name, which means small, and I'm not proud of that. But as a Jew, you have to remember, we always cut a little bit off. That may explain a lot. So
I guess. Jewish German, go figure.
Yeah, I'm the only one left.
We're glad you're here.
Wow.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, it's great to see you guys again.
Well, speaking of the Amish, why don't we play a little of their music? The Electric Amish. You've probably heard of the Seattle Sound, the so-called bands of that area. I guess they would be called grunge bands, to use a term that is often used in the straight press anyway. The grunge outfits from the Seattle area. Nirvana would probably be the most famous. Maybe Pearl
Jam boys. Yes,
then you get to the more obscure Mudhoney and the like. But the Napanee Sound is what's happening here. That's the whole scene up in Napanee with the buggies and the beards and that whole black and white thing you were talking about. And this band is really at the forefront of it all. It's the Electric Amish and the Bob and Tom Show.
There they are, the Electric Amish. Good morning, you're with Bob and Tom.
Hanging me. Shake, shake it, boom.
Shake, shake it, boom. I'm sorry. I can't stop doing that. I don't know why.
I know.
Before we go on, I wanted to once again hear these comments. We were talking about John F. Kennedy Jr. He's in the cover of Esquire magazine. There's a lengthy article about him, and he's got supposedly political magazine coming out. Although when they called it the People magazine of politics, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of softball throwing.
I don't know if he meant that or he meant that he wants it to be, that popular and that widely read.
I think that the reality is that it's
going to be softball.
It's going to be real softball
fluff
stuff.
pieces.
What about the Packwood pictorial? Now that'll pack some punch.
I agree.
So if they were doing that,
they have a centerfold.
If they had the girls of Bob Packwood,
there you go.
Now George some magazines, but he was at a press conference yesterday, I guess, announcing his magazine, and we originally received an edited version of his remarks.
You want to hear the edited version?
Yeah, let me hear that.
Well, yeah, he
here it is.
Made some remarks, but
this is kind of an opening joke.
I think these were edited by the Associated Press.
Here's the original that we heard this morning.
The answers to the most frequently asked personal questions are as follows. Yes, no, we're merely good friends. None of your business. Honest, she's my cousin from Rhode Island. I've worn both, maybe someday, but not in New Jersey. Thank you.
See, now they spliced those all together.
He sounds so much like Kevin Costner.
Looks a little
big time.
His voice sounds so much
exactly.
like
Now you have the original, don't
you?
Now we can hear now let's hear the unedited version, and we'll follow. I think it's a lot more, instructive.
I agree.
The answers to the most frequently asked personal questions are as follows.
John, is it true that your Uncle Teddy is a bubbling old fat drunk pervert?
Yes.
And has anybody in your family ever done an actual honest day's work?
No.
Did you ever sleep with Bob Packwood?
We're merely good friends.
How tall are you?
None of your business.
Didn't I see you out to dinner with Barney Frank?
Honest, she's my cousin from Rhode Island.
Can you tell us a little about Daryl Hannah and the new chick you're dating?
I've worn both.
Do you think you'll ever do an honest day's work in your life?
Maybe someday.
Is it true that your dad, JFK, slept with a woman in every state in the Union?
But not in New Jersey.
There it is.
I knew he had good taste.
I knew that.
Now we're finding something out about the guy.
There you go.
Okay, that's JFK
That's
Jr.
in depth.
Yeah. Just think how much he spilled.
Oh.
It hurts to think about. I'd like to be JFK Jr. for a day and then just have him just put me in the old box and say it's all over. It's all I need.
At midnight, you wouldn't.
Done some living.
You'd be over with.
I'd have Daryl Hannah in New York at noon, hop on the SST. I'd be...
You wouldn't have to leave the apartment. They just...
No, you're probably right.
They'd just be lining up.
Wouldn't there just be like at the license branch? Now serving 26.
Though... I've always been, when I get there, I'm always 90, 91, 92.
Which is why I would imagine there's some not so obscure prescription drugs in that
possibly
medicine cabinet over there.
Who knows?
Well, the Kennedy kids made out pretty good.
Hey, if it's bubbling, get out the Bronx.
When Jackie O kicked, she left a few bucks to the kids. Here's a little tuppence for you.
Dick and I were talking off the air about Shannon Faulkner, and we both have kind of admitted that
I have some sexual attraction to her, and I'd like to just like to just take her and run through her like Hitler through France.
Yeah, run barefoot through her hair. That's what I'd like to do.
Shannon Faulkner?
I like to undress her slowly.
That's what we need. I think we both decided that's what she needs is a good...
Are you drunk?
That's all
good
she
meal.
needs is a good...
I'd like a good schlippin'. I'd like to suck her toes. And...
Oh, my.
Wow. I'd like to take her army boots off, get those big white socks off, and just start mowing. Just mow. Get down in there, put it...
Just start mowing.
Get that big toe in my mouth and go...
I would suspect...
What a disgusting thought.
Get that toe jam out.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
It was good being here with you guys today.
Oh, jeez. All right.
You will not have to worry about blisters on her feet, though.
I will not.
Why is that? Because she was only at the Citadel for 4 hours.
On that note, I'm going to protest the Dick's Picks program and leave.
Get those.
Fine. Send it to the commissioner.
I'm sorry. I will not sit here and take that.
Get those army panties off her head, wear them on my head like
I wish I could
Jacques Cousteau hat.
Oh, yeah.
Like a beret. I'd like to see what kind of army issue panties Shannon has.
A jaunty beret.
So just like wear it right on my head like a jaunty beret.
Well, I'm afraid her panties you couldn't wear them on your head. You'd smell like pepperoni. You'd need a bigger head.
You could wear them as a shirt. That's the part I like because they got the armholes
like a Dago tee. I got my Dago tee.
Yeah.
No, it's really a pair of panties.
I hope
You know,
that's-
hey,
I hope that's some kind of facial hair I haven't heard
No,
about.
he has slang terms for stuff that
We're,
the rest of us don't have.
We're taking a break.
I just wanted to tell you we have
I'm leaving.
a lot of great
I
stuff
will
coming
not
up.
stand here and have you make fun of the United States of America.
We have-
Gentlemen.
we have
I am
shoes-
not saying we didn't take some liberties with our dates.
We did.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is.
We'll take a break. Dick's Picks is coming up. You're listening to Bob and Tom.
Breaker, Brian. Come in, good buddy. It's me.